Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ouachita News Show. I'm Elizabeth Steely, here with my co-anchor Blythe Epp, and we'll be filling in for Caroline and Izzy over the next few weeks.
That's right, Elizabeth, and we're so excited to be on campus for week 5 of classes.
Yes, we are. For your COVID update this week, we have 17 active cases as of September 11th. For more information, be sure to visit obu.edu/coronavirus.
Normally, this is where I'd be giving the weather report for this week, but we're going to hear from forecasts from our weatherman for the next few weeks, Mitchell Waite.
Good morning, Ouachita Weather Watchers. This is Mitchell Waite with your 5-day weather report for this week. The forecast for today, Wednesday the 16th, is predicted to be partly sunny with a high of 85 degrees. There is a 40% chance of rain with mild thunderstorms to come in the afternoon. Moving on to Thursday, the weather looks like it was going to stay around 86 degrees for a high. The day looks like it will stay mostly cloudy and humid for the most part, with a 51% chance of rain. What better way to enjoy Friday than sunny skies and only a 3% chance of precipitation? The high for Friday is 84 degrees, so we encourage you to get out and enjoy the great weather that is predicted through this coming weekend. Saturday is predicted to be full of sunshine with only a 3% chance of rain and a high of 82 degrees. The forecast for this week is ending on a sunny note, leaving Sunday with a high of 83 degrees. With that, we have a 9% chance of rain for Sunday the 20th as well. Well, that concludes your 5-day weather report for this week and predictions by AccuWeather. This is Mitchell Waite with the weather forecast for this week, whether you like it or not.
Thanks, Mitchell. I guess you can keep him in mind if you ever need to replace me, Elizabeth.
We'd never replace you, Blythe. But we thought that campus ministries might have to find a replacement for Refuge this semester. Instead, it just looks a little bit different this year. Caroline Massey has more details on the socially distanced version of Refuge.
Despite the challenges brought on by this unique semester, Campus Ministries has been working fervently toward bringing the well-known Ouachita tradition of Refuge back to students.
The process for us to get Refuge approved for this year was a difficult one because we didn't really know going through the summer what the situation would be like, and so we mainly followed ADH guidelines as they were developed through the summer, worked with the HMAC group here on campus, and finally was able to present a proposal to HMAT and have that approved because we followed the guidelines for social distancing and the kind of best practices for indoor worship services.
We as human beings really crave not only to worship God and pursue Him, but to do that alongside other people. And Refuge offers that for us. It gives us a chance to be around other believers, to experience God's presence, and to do that alongside our brothers and sisters.
The new restrictions are mainly that if you're in the audience or congregation, then you have to be 6 feet from anyone else and wearing a mask. Which is a new thing for us, learning how to wear a mask and worship together. And so those are the main restrictions in the congregation. With the people leading worship, if they take their masks off for singing, then they actually have to be 12 feet apart. And so that's kind of the restriction on stage, though anyone on stage who's not singing or speaking has to wear a mask as well. And then we also ask for people to screen themselves, and we screen to make sure that nobody who has a fever or who has any of the symptoms of COVID are attending.
The biggest obstacle, I would say, is obviously the fact that we can't let everybody come to Refuge that wants to come. And so that's kind of sad, both for us and for the students, is you want to come with your friends and sit with your friends and talk with them and share with them, and we can't do that. But also one of the cool things about that we've heard from a lot of students, and I've gotten to experience myself, is that whenever you're in there and you are separated from other people, it kind of creates this sense of being alone with God, and it gives you the opportunity to just kind of not think about the people around you or who's singing, who's not, whether or not you need to raise your hands or whatever. You can just be with God and connect with Him and just have that moment between you two.
If you're not familiar with Refuge, I think the one thing I would say is that this is student-led worship. The students have ownership of Refuge. They decide what the worship service is going to look like. They lead in music, they lead in the teaching, and it's really their vision and their passion that they put in place each week. And so I'd invite you, if you're not familiar with it, to come out and see what your fellow students are doing as they lead the campus in worship.
Refuge is held on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock, so be sure to reserve your ticket for the service. For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Caroline Massey.
You can reserve your ticket to Refuge on Thursday morning, so keep an eye on your email for the link from Campus Ministries.
We've also seen some pretty innovative intramurals during this time. Hannah Hickman had a chance to take a closer look at another way that Recca Life has adapted to continue serving their students.
Recreational Life is putting a twist on foosball with its newest intramural sport. Human foosball is providing a solution to following physical distancing guidelines while still allowing students to interact as a team.
So, if you look up plans for human foosball, it doesn't really take into account COVID guidelines, and so we had to take extra precautions in the planning as we were building it, just making sure that the heads of the people that were going to be in the arena were 6 feet apart. It turned out to be a pretty exuberant sport, and so having a mask on was a challenge, but with the physical distancing in the arena, we feel like we could keep everyone as safe as possible as long as they can abide by those guidelines.
At first, when I saw that people were going to be playing human foosball, I was like, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. But then some of my friends were like, hey, you want to join this team? And I was like, yeah, it can't be that different than normal foosball, and I at least understand how that works, so what's the harm?
I wanted to play with my group because we really didn't have anything else to do, and it sounded fun. We're not good at soccer, but we were like, let's just try it. It's our senior year, might as well.
Yeah, so you have people standing on the poles and they can move back and forth, but they can't let go, and they just pass the ball around and try to get it in the goals.
So the COVID guidelines, you expect them to be a pain, but they really haven't been that bad. We're outside and we're socially distanced, so we don't have to wear a mask unless we're really near each other, and so it really hasn't been that different.
You never know when you throw a new sport out there what kind of participation you're going to get, what people are going to expect, but I think people were really excited that we were doing intramurals in general, and so, and the fact that it was just something totally out of the box like human foosball, I think that, the participation was really strong. There are 14 teams that are participating. One of the things that we really want to do at Ouachita, obviously, the community that we have is so important in recreational life, paying attention to the physical development of the individuals here on our campus, and whatever we can do to provide that, whether we're in a season like this with COVID-19 or not, we want to provide whatever we can to get students interacting with one another and really pay attention to what they desire, and intramural sports is a big part of that.
The experience is pretty much the same because I'm just with my friends, and that's what I love about intramurals.
For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Hannah Hickman.
The intramural human foosball season will end in just a few weeks, so try to cheer on your friends during a game if you can.
We'll keep you updated as we hear more updates about Ouachita athletics, but you can also check obutigers.com for the latest updates.
This summer brought a host of changes for students who suddenly found themselves unable to work at a summer camp. But several Ouachita students started their own businesses as a way to support themselves through quarantine. Caroline Dermy has the latest on just a couple of the businesses and how they got started.
While quarantine was a negative thing for some, it was inspiring for others. Entrepreneurship among college students is not uncommon, but the pandemic gave students a bit of extra time to hone in their ideas and make them a reality. Ouachita students Ashton Spence and Zebediah Barrett, owners of A to Z Productions, and Josie Pringle, owner of Viva La Bowls, are just two examples of students who found their creative groove in quarantine.
And so I was like, why not create a job for myself and create an income, something that'd be super fun. This is the time of my life to do it.
For Pringle, Viva La Bowls started when her summer job at Sky Ranch got canceled. She saw making smoothie bowls as a way to bring more fun to her hometown and as a way to start fulfilling her dream of owning a coffee shop that sells smoothie bowls.
So it is smoothie bowls, which is just like a thick smoothie, if you don't know what that is, in a bowl with toppings. There's usually granola, fresh fruit, bananas. You can add Nutella, peanut butter. You can add anything to it, make it really customizable.
Spence and Barrett started their production company A to Z as a way to showcase their skills and help college students.
I would say if I was to describe A to Z Productions, it's it's very chill, and it's very much just if you have an idea of something that you want to do and you just don't know how to go about it, we work with you. Like, yes, we have set prices, but like we're willing to work with you on budget and everything else, because we know college students are broke, and so we really try and work with students and everything. And like, especially if you're a Ouachita student, if you show us your Ouachita ID, you get a discount for anything that we do.
Pringle, Spence, and Barrett are all students, so they have had to learn how to balance work and school.
I think my main focus is not overworking myself. I know that this is just like a side gig, and so I don't need to make it a priority in my life. It's something that if I don't have time for it, I don't have to do it. And so I've learned just kind of how to work around my schedule, but also work around other people's schedules so that they can order bowls, and just kind of figure out how to do it well, how to balance it properly.
So it's been challenging because we have to choreograph like around my school schedule and my work study schedule. I actually like have written out my schedule on my iPad and stuff, and like have sent it to him, and so he's like constantly looking at my schedule and then booking what we need to do around that and everything.
Starting their own business has taught these three valuable lessons and giving them a way to share their talents.
It's been really interesting because neither of us have done like business classes or like taken business classes. I've just always been really good with money and things like that. And I have connections that are in the business world. And so I've just been, figuring out piece by piece, how do we do this? How do we go about this? What do we need to do? And it's been pretty interesting.
I would just tell people to go for it. There's no harm in trying. A lot of people who have businesses and go for things, they usually fail the first couple of times, and there is no problem with that. Failure is just a lesson to learn. Like, there's no harm in it, and so I would just say go for it. If you have the resources, if you have the support, you can make it happen. I would definitely make it happen.
Awesome. These students will continue their businesses through the semester and hopefully for several years to come. For the Ouachita News Show, I'm Caroline Derby.
I'm definitely going to be getting one of those smoothie bowls, Elizabeth.
I might get one too, Blythe. Well, that's all the news we have for you this week, Tigers.
Anyways, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Ouachita News, and at Ouachita Weather Watch.
Mask up, stay safe, and tune in next week for more of the latest Ouachita news.